This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
A very, very good morning and welcome to the beginning of the morning game drive. I am Sydney. I am traveling with Tenzo this morning, and we are going to try by all means and get hold of Hosanna, who has just been spotted earlier by the dam cam catching a decker. My plan this morning is just that, very easy. The weather this morning here by the Juma Game Reserve is perfect. It's overcast and there is some little bit of wind blowing, but which is not too much. So I'm hoping to see a lot of animal activities. For your questions and comments, you can follow us on Twitter, #SafariLive. You can also follow us on YouTube chat stream. I am right here at the butchery for Hosanna. I'm trying to check. I'm going to use my spotlight because it's still very much early here. But I know Hosanna prefers to come and use this jackalberry tree. But here today, I am not seeing him. So I wonder where he is hiding the decker that he just caught earlier. Or if the hyena came back and did the same thing like yesterday. So here by the famous jackalberry is very quiet. Jeremiah, I hope so too, because yesterday it was a very interesting drama when those three hyenas came and deprived the food away from the two hyenas came and deprived the food away from Hosanna. So this morning, I'm going to check around the Galago Vuyotela Pen area and see if we can see him. He must be somewhere high up in one of the trees. I don't think he's going to let any other animal try to come closer to his food, because yesterday he was very close to have something to eat. Oh, David, I didn't watch actually where he is hiding the kill at the moment, but I'm going to try by all means and check around the lodge area here in between this dry riverbed as well, just to see. Maybe I might be lucky and see him there. That is where I'm going. Maybe he tried to use the nearest tree because long distance, maybe he was trying to avoid the same problem like yesterday. So while I'm trying to check where Hosanna is with the kill, let's go to Brent by the Masai Mara, who is also about to start his game drive.
Good morning and welcome to a rather crisp morning here in the Masai Mara. My name is Brett Smith. I have the biggest cameraman at Wild Earth, James, the big man, on camera today. And we are going to head down towards the south. We might do a little trundle past North Clan, see if the Mogoros and the legendary Scarface around. Then we're going to head even further south towards the Salt Lake, see if we can find Kipuli and the two sausage boys. Then we're going to head to the west to see if we can find the Sausage Tree Pride. So the dawn is full of opportunity, and let's hope we just capitalize on at least one of them. As I said, it's quite crisp here in the Masai Mara. I've got my lucky shuka on, so let's hope it brings us lots and lots of luck. Remember, #SafariLive if you have any questions for us on Twitter, or pop it in the YouTube chat section, and hopefully your question will hopefully get to either myself or Sydney, and I'm not sure who's on Bushwalk. I think Taylor on the other side of Africa. Now we're quite lucky because the migration is still here. There's always something happening about the migration, so we're going to head down towards the migration. I'm very interested to see if they've come further north from where they were yesterday, because yesterday the most far north I'd seen them this year around Majiandege, but let's see if they've maybe come a bit further north from there.
I am now checking around the Vuyotela Pen area where Hosana was seen dragging his carcass to. It is still a little bit difficult to spot from a distance here because the weather is nice and cloudy. So I'm just trying to target the big trees. So at least Hosana managed to get something after such a very long time. Hunting was never easy this time to him. So nothing is here. Dalton, the animals such as hyenas and wild dogs, how they catch these animals is not like the other predators such as cats. Those ones, they normally don't wait until the animal is dead. They eat the animals alive. I'm just going to go and target the other trees on the other side because here I can see that it's not where he's hiding. But it's very, very, very quiet. I can see that something has been happening because I can't see any of the small antelope here. So I am sure that all these antelopes that prefers to come here are fully aware of the presence of Hosana and the kill in the area. Because these animals, when caught, they do give out the distress call, and that alerts the other members in the area, both family and different species, same species and different species. I just got some other updates from one of the viewers that Hosana has last been spotted moving towards the southern side of the game reserve, which is much more towards the quarantine. So that is where I am going to check for now. I'm going to find him. When having a kill, he doesn't have any other option. All he got to do now is to eat. He's very hungry, probably. Safari, Sally, the leopards, they don't specifically avoid these kind of trees. They can use any of the big trees around, but the thorn trees, they're going to have to be very careful. So I just heard an alarm call here. I just want to first check. I can hear an alarm call from the Francolin. So Francolins are some of the ground dwellers. Yes, they can fly. They've got an ability to do that, but they nest on the ground. So when animals are walking here, mostly cats, they shout at these big animals. Yeah, they are singing a very big chorus somewhere this side. Yeah, they are singing a big chorus somewhere here. But the tune they're singing is an alarm tune. I can hear that. So let's see what these alarm calls are all about. I trust the Francolins. Although they are not selective when it comes to the giving off of the warning calls. So it might be anything walking on the ground. This alarm call was just coming from here. Oh, I'm not seeing anything here. You know, birds have got a very good vision. They can see very well. So they can see more than we do. They've got two very small eyes, but they can see very well. So what I am now trying to get hold of Hosana in the area, let's go back to the Masai Mara and see how he's going there.
Those early morning legs, but oh, the real reason I stopped is not because there's another Franklin off to the right there, Jim, coming into the middle of the road, running across. Looked like a little coqui. It is a coqui Franklin, indeed. The rusty bed springs bird, or the naughty rusty bed springs. If you've ever heard them call, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. They are very pretty little Franklins, and I will actually play the rusty bed springs for you. Now you know why they have their nickname. And then actually, well, there's a flock, but they've moved a bit further down the road. I'm gonna get a bit closer, of superb starlings. And in this morning light, they are gorgeous. So, well, actually I should say they are superb. No, don't fly away. There's still two left. You've always got to keep a close lookout because occasionally you get a Hildebrand starling amongst the superbs. Flying. Morning, Jonathan. There's the one. No. Not playing along today. Jonathan would like to know what is my favorite bird species. Oof. Jonathan, too many. Too many. Great blue taraco is one of my favorites. African broadbill. Now, of course, they're in bad light, so we can't actually see the colors. Let's go to the one above that one there, James. I think we might be able to see a bit better. There we go. And as I say, you've got to be quite vigilant, particularly in this area of the Mara, because superb starlings are generally the most common, but occasionally you will also find Hildebrands in this area. And let's have a look. You might be able to hear a large vehicle approaching us. That is one of the balloon vehicles. So the biggest difference between the Hildebrand starling and the superb starling is, of course, that little white streak across the chest. And that is superb starling. So the Hildebrand starlings don't have that little white band across the chest. He's getting himself a good preen. Very beautiful in this early morning light. Okay, well, let's keep moving. So we actually changed our mind. We were going to go down towards the river. And we actually decided maybe we'll go to the river later. So we're actually going to start at the top, head down towards where we had the sausages yesterday morning first, and then move our way south and east and around. Michael would like to know, is it possible for the Franklin species to hybridize? Yes. But generally only if they're from the same super complex, and it is very rare, but it is possible. You can see now I'm chasing a tractor. I'm going to try and get ahead of this tractor as soon as possible. Hang on, what is that over there? Ah, wonderful. Looks like a little mixed group of zebra and eland. Let me just get to the top of the hill. There we go. So normally this area is quite quiet, so it's quite nice to see some general game here. So there's some zebra and eland together. Oh, look at the eland running to the right there, James. Keep going far right. Ah, anyway, well, they've stopped running now, but they were frolicking, bounding through the grass. Isn't that beautiful? Lovely early morning scenes here in the Mara. Oh, there's some impala as well, about to run into shot. You see the baby eland? Impala have gone the other way. Okay, I'm going to keep moving. While we do that, let's send you all the way back to South Africa, to Sydney, who's had some luck finding carrion.
Oh, look at that. I've managed to get hold of the food, but Hosanna is not around here at the moment. And while I'm inspecting here, I have just picked up something. I want to investigate something, Senzo. I saw a movement somewhere there in between those dry grasses. So there, that is where I saw something. So hopefully there is Hosanna or something. So I'm just gonna drive a little bit and see. Yeah, there, can you see? Oh, yes, it's him. It's him. Have you seen that? No, I've just managed to find one of the leopards here now. Oh, there you see. So you can see now that he is. So you can see that he's not far, he's very much close, but it's deep a little bit there, so when he's lying down, it's never easy to see him. So look at that. Rexon coming for Sydney. I have managed to reallocate Hosanna. He's not very far away from the kill. Copy that. Thank you. Copy that. All the best. Look at that. This is Hosanna, not very far away from the kill. He did not eat too much. He just ate a little bit. Thank you very much for all this kind of interesting comments about the finding of Hosanna at the moment. I was just talking to Rexen, who is about to kickstart the guided walk now. I was updating him that we got Hosanna, as he was willing to assist to me during the reallocation. So you can see that his focus is there on food. He doesn't want to lose this food again. But let's hope Tingana doesn't come here as well, because if he comes, he might again lose this kind of food. You can see that he looks very tired. You know, chasing and catching an animal is quite a very big job for a leopard alone. So the leopard, is very rare to see them walking in groups. So a group of leopards together is called a leap. So leopards are mostly solitary. They walk by themselves and they do everything by themselves. So they've got to overcome all these different kind of challenges by themselves. So the size of that decker to me looks big, because it can weigh from 18 to 25 kilograms. 18 to 25 kilograms dragging up to a tree is never easy. So that is why he lost that food yesterday, because maybe the food was too heavy. He couldn't manage to catch speed in order to run high up to the tree, and hyenas came and deprived the food. So, but this morning I can see that the food is high up. It doesn't want problems. This cat has been hungry for quite a lot of days. You can see that when this cat is laying down like this, it was never easy for us to spot him. If it was not an action he took while we were watching the carcass, we wouldn't see this. So now, while still waiting for Hosanna to wake up and show us his activities, let's go to the beginning of the guided walk. James is about to take off now.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome. I'm about to take off. Would you like to see me take off? Did you see me take off? I think that was quite an impressive takeoff. Thank you. Well done. Jean is on camera this morning. Just did a little small trip there. Hopefully that'll be the last. No, it says it won't be the last. Welcome to the bushwalk. We are going for a walk, as you can see. We're on feet. We are not flying anywhere. And our plan is to, well, look for the small things as spring and summer come upon us. And maybe we'll be lucky with something like Tingana or Tundi on the way. A very good start to the morning we have had with Hosanna and his duiker kill. Not a good start for the morning for the duiker, of course. The morning didn't really start at all for the duiker. It ended rather abruptly sometime yesterday evening. So that is our plan today. Please talk to us using the hashtag SafariLive, of course, on Twitter. Otherwise, you can use the chat stream on YouTube. Now, we are walking through a field of Hypothelia dissoluta, and we have startled a small herd of nyalas. Chandra, if you could detach yourself from that thicket over there, and then we'll look at the nyalas. It's still quite dark. Well, not dark, but it's dim. Overcast, and so we'll walk carefully, listening carefully. And I must say, the weather this morning, a welcome relief from the oven-like conditions of yesterday afternoon. Stunning day. You do make very, very good point, everybody. It is impossible for me to fly this morning as I'm not wearing a shukka. Look, look, look. It's Mrs. Wahlberg. She's taking some nesting material back to her nest. And you heard her make a little squeal there. So, that's very interesting. So the Wahlberg's Furniture Emporium obviously opens fairly early in the morning. There's her husband, Gendry. His husband's just following her there. They seem to be being blown off course somewhat. They're not going towards their nest. Maybe they've decided that they need to build a new home. You know, too many old memories. Yeah, too many memories from the last one, perhaps. That'll be very distressing. We'll have to go and find them again. That's fascinating. He's turning sort of towards the old place now. Yes, we'll have to change the name of that road from Wahlberg's Eagle's Nest Road to Divorce Road or something like that. I feel having Divorce Road going off quarantine clearings would be fairly appropriate. That's irritating because it means we'll have to find them again and watch how their relationship develops. All right, the Nyalas have moved off over there. Oh, no, there they are. Let's have another look, just a brief look at them. And you can see how beautifully coloured they are for this sort of condition. It's got a nice air of expectancy about it this morning. Gentle breeze. I don't think it's going to rain. It might be also the coming of leave in 3 days that's making me feel an air of expectancy. Gendry, are you going on leave today? That's why Gendry is feeling expectant. Come on then. Let's carry on. And while we do that, let us go back across to the sleepy, majestic prince.
I am still here with a sleeping Hosanna, just waiting to see what is going to happen. But the chances of other leopards to come in the area, they are very much high. We might see another interesting drama this morning here. So you can see that these animals, they get very tired. So, but leopards, they don't sleep much time as the lions. The lions can sleep much longer than the leopards. You can see that the hairs there on the side of the body is raised. M1, that is something I'm waiting to see. I want to see his movement just to check if maybe he got hurt by those hyenas. But one of the hyenas scared him. I'm not too sure if that hyena managed to give him a bite or not. I was asking also Senzo, who was the camera operator during that activity. He is also not too sure if there was a bite there yesterday. So maybe when he wakes up here, we will be able to see his movement. Rose, yes, Hosanna, look at that. He's now stretching. So it will be very much safe for Hosanna to sleep up by the tree, because here on the ground is not safe with the carcass. It's better to take the carcass up to the tree and just rest there. But if other leopards, such as Tingana, comes here, still it's not going to help, because those ones, they are also agile climbers. So he will come and climb up there. Possibilities for Hosanna to lose this kill, they are very much high, because already he lost quite a lot of energy during the chase and killing and dragging up to the tree. If Tingana comes here fresh, the chances of winning the battle, they are very much high. We have seen it before. Catch the predators. they can be so very much interesting. Sometimes they don't kill because they are hungry. They can kill while having a kill, just to show the animals that they can kill, because these hunting activities are part of their instinct behavior. So if anything comes closer here, they are still going to catch it. Let me give you a very interesting story. I was once on a sighting where about 6 lions caught 4 wildebeest in less than 1.5 hours time. This is what happened. These lions were hunting and they managed to catch the first wildebeest. And the remaining wildebeest went closer to investigate what happened to their friend. And the lions took the second one. The remaining wildebeest again went closer to investigate what happened to the second one. And they took the third one. And they went closer again to investigate what happened to the third one until 4 wildebeest were killed. And the disappointing part was after that kill, the lions went to the waterhole. When they were at the waterhole same day, they caught a kudu. So you can see that the animals such as predators, they kill not simply because they are hungry. They kill sometimes because killing to them is like a form of play. Yeah, this cat is enjoying this kind of weather, I can see. So this cat is enjoying this kind of weather. The cats, they prefer nice and cool weather like this. So now let's go to Brent in the Masai Mara and see what he's having at the moment.
Well, welcome back. Sorry about the gremlins a little bit earlier. And we've arrived now down on the edge of the burn. So I'm going to look in the area where we had that cheetah yesterday morning. So we're going to do a slow drive through the bright green of the burn. And then head down towards where we had the sausages. If we don't find the cheetah, of course. Hopefully we find the cheetah first. Now there's a bit of discussion about which cheetah that is. I think it's Naratoy, judging by her tail. Apparently others think it might be Kekenya, which would be quite interesting because we've never seen Kekenya in this area before. But I still think it was Naratoy. I didn't get the best look though, so I could be wrong. Okay, off. There's some wildies and zebra up ahead. But let us get off this main road and dive into the burn. There we go. So this is the area where the cheetah, I'm not sure who it is, has been hanging out. Anna Marie is wondering, do cheetah sleep as much as leopards? Yes. They're probably a little bit more active during the daylight hours and sometimes at night, but as a general, all the big cats sleep a lot. None quite as much as lions, though. So still quite a few wildebeest and zebra in this area. Not massive herds. Even compared to yesterday, there's quite a lot less. Means they've either, I think they've moved a little bit further south by the looks of things, down towards Mlimambili. But now we've got to look very carefully for cheetah, because often they just look like a rock or a piece of elephant dung. Their head slightly up while they're sleeping. This is also, of course, happy zebra hyena-clad lands, and could see the sausages, the owinos, all the olololos of the lions we've seen down here. And of course there's two wonderful new big boys that have moved into this area. Hopefully we'll see one of them as well. Now, of course, when I go out, Lady Piss, I purposely don't look for lions. Of course, I'm joking. Of course, we will try to find a lion pride today. We've got a good chance in this area. As I was saying, we could see 3 different prides in this area. Lots of food around still, so I'm trying to remember, where did we have that cheetah yesterday? Just over here in this area. So far, no sign of the big cats yet, but of course that can change in a second. Now, I'm going to keep searching through here. In the meantime, it seems like James has found himself some breakfast, so he has to take a bite.
I'm not going to take a bite of that, everybody. That would be disgusting, and I'd be ill for days. Come this way. It's a dead impala. Looks like a leopard killed it. It's been disemboweled. I'm pretty sure it heard us coming along here. Jean-Ray and I were, well, basically having a fat chat as we came down through here, which meant the leopard would almost certainly have heard us walked away. Polly, come this side. Polly is with us. I just don't want him to walk closer to the carcass than we are. I have introduced you to Polly before. Rex is in front. Now I suspect quite strongly that the cat would have gone into the thicket just behind this thing. So we're going to do a little circle around here, stick close by. Now the other option is that it could have been wild dogs if you find a carcass like this, but it isn't. It's been disemboweled. Very clearly disemboweled. So Rex is just looking for some tracks. I'll just keep looking everywhere for some spots. There are some tracks here. It could also have been Tingana. I'd be really impressed if Tingana had managed to whack this thing. Of course, what you don't want is a cat launching out of the bush at you. It's very unlikely. We're not going to corner whatever it is. This is recent. This is not an old kill. I mean, it's not warm. Rexon heard something behind us. We're obviously not going to stay here for long, everybody, because we don't want to keep whatever it is away from its meal. We'll just have a quick look around here. Come through here. Whatever it is fed quite nicely. They've eaten all the nutritious organs. Polly, come. You've got a track there. Did you find a track? What is it? Tell me. Eh? I've got 2 expert trackers now. Well, 1 expert, 1 novice. Hyena. This is not hyenas, eh? I mean, hyenas would have finished that thing off. Oh, look at that. That is unbelievable. Look what Polly's just spotted. It's an impala fetus. look at that. That's a little bit sad. So that's a little baby impala that was going to be born in December in 2 pieces. Shame. That's always a little bit sad to see. You think this is hyenas? Well, there's a hyena track here. Wild dogs. It's a wild dog. Look at that. It's a wild dog. Can you believe it? It is wild dog. Come this way. Let's move away so that they can come back to their kill. Let's go and sit on that termite mound over there. So we didn't think it was wild dogs. We thought that it was almost certainly a leopard because it had been disemboweled. But clearly its disembowelation had happened very quickly. In other words, that the dogs had ripped it. Okay, what we're going to go and do is sit up over here on this termite mound, move away from the dogs so that they can perhaps try and get back to the carcass. They've eaten quite a lot of it, and if it is just the 2 of them, it's quite likely they'll just leave it because they do eat. They don't, they'll struggle to finish a carcass that big. I thought Paulie said, I think I've got wild dog tracks here. Did you say that? And then he didn't believe himself. So let's go up onto this mound. Very special stuff. I'm just sorry that Jandre and I were yakking so loudly that they obviously moved off. Alright, there we go. We can see the carcass. I think we'll just sit here for a while and see what happens. See if they come back. Like I say, they have eaten quite a lot of the insides. There's a lot of meat left, but if it is just the 2 females who come hunting here and the male who gets lost all the time, they probably have, or they could easily have eaten their fill. But it's definitely going to be worth just sitting here and waiting to see if we can find out. So while we do that, let's go across to Sidders, who of course has got a kill of his own.
Oh, Sana is still here, sleeping very relaxed, not worried about anything. I think he is quite sure that the food is safe at the moment. He is not showing any other activities, and now you can see he's lying down facing the other side, not even facing the direction where the food is at the moment. So he's confident enough that nothing's going to come and take the food at the moment. So I'm just going to wait and see what he's thinking about to do. Maybe he's not going to experience more challenges because it seems like the other cats are not nearby. So if you look at this, the spots just from the ear to the head, you can see that the roseate spots, they are much more golden gray, much more like the grass. You can see this animal is camouflaged, and this kind of color is the one that is covering the outer layer. Only underneath is where you can see the white. So this shows you that this animal, when it's hiding like this, you are not going to figure it out that this is a living animal. You might easily miss it. And he knows where to hide because look, he just went right into those small grass. And there's a little bit of a donga where he's sleeping very nicely. It's a nice bed. So now Brent by the Masai Mara also managed to get hold of one of the cats, the cats with the tear mark on the eyes, the cheetah. Let's see his cheetah.
Well, it is almost certainly the same cheetah we had yesterday, so we can actually try figure out exactly who it is. Now, I normally use the tail as the best way to judge who it is. So obviously we can't see the tail just yet, but if we do have any of our cheetah experts out there, maybe you will be able to tell me which cheetah exactly this is. Sitting up on a little termite mound at the moment, enjoying the morning sun, quite head up, quite active. As you can see, there's quite a few Thompson's gazelles around, but I think she's going to be specializing on baby Tommies at the moment. And she definitely caught one yesterday, so maybe she's sticking to the old mantra, a baby Tommy a day keeps hunger away. Hafiz is asking, do big cats' stomachs shrink when they don't eat? Well, not really. I mean, I suppose they do, like any elastic membrane in a mammalian body or reptilian body, they will shrink, but they're elastic, so they will expand again when they put food in them. Very beautiful. The moment, Tommies are not too concerned with her. Now, Ruggs is asking, how good is a cheetah's eyesight? It is very good, but again, it is like most predators' eyesight. It is, they don't see detail very well, but they see movement. So anything that moves, they'll pick up. Cheetah have excellent eyesight. Just panning around. We're quite close to a little water hole that is quite often frequented by the happy zebra clan of hyenas. So she's looking relatively hungry. Oh, isn't that beautiful? Look at that stretch. Are we going hunting? I think we are. Or she might go for a drink. James thinks it's Kakenya. I still think it's Naruto looking at the tail. Very distinct bands on the tail. I'll have to find my cheetah ID kits to be 100% certain though. I'm just going to snap a quick picture of her tail as she goes past. So I can have a look later. But definitely in the mood for some breakfast. And fortunately for whoever this is, there is a lot of food around. They are just such live cats, cheetah. Alina is ecstatic to see the mystery cheetah again. Me too, Alina. That's why I came to this area. That's why I changed my mind. Instead of going and looking for Scarface, who is always doing his best impression of grass, I thought maybe let's come down into this area. And hopefully this morning we might catch her on the hunt. Yeah. Oh, something gave her a fright. Let's move quickly to keep up with her. So the lucky shuka has done its trick today. It could have been something in the grass that gave her a fright there. Oh, you guys ready? You guys ready? Get your screenshotting fingers ready, because we're going to give you a proper Mara shot from behind. A cheetah on a termite mound gazing on towards the open plains. You know what I'm going to do? I'll send Scott a picture, because Scotty knows Kenya better than any of us. He spent more time with her. And maybe Scott can tell me who it is. Definitely having a look around for the possibility of some food. Chris says there's nothing like seeing a cheetah run at full speed. I hope she hunts this morning. That is too true, Chris. Having a good peruse around at the moment. Beautiful. We found her at sort of the most ideal time. Cheetah are quite active at this time of the day, and where the other big cats are starting to start snoozing at this time of the day. Ruggs is wondering, do cheetahs have a relatively high kill success rate? Yes, they do, Ruggs. Probably higher than lion and leopard, but also you must remember they lose about 80% of what they kill to other predators. Having a good look at the moment. Okay, well, we're going to play the patience game and put our patience pants on to see which cheetah this is and what she gets up to. In the meantime, I know James is waiting for the wild dogs to appear.
There's much talk of patience pants in Brent Leo Smith's life at the moment. Perhaps he's taken on some kind of new meditation practice. But of all the qualities Brent Leo Smith possesses, I wouldn't have said patience was necessarily one of them. Anyway, I'm glad his pants are working. Our carcass has remained unvisited, and I suspect, unfortunately, that the dogs have finished eating, or certainly that they'd had enough. And perhaps our startling of them made them think, let's carry on. That is almost exactly the same amount of meat that was left on the bushbuck ram that they killed and then left for Tingana, and then also the impala that Tingana picked up at the northern end of Buffelshoek Dam before he stole the bushbuck. And so it doesn't surprise me that they've left that much of it there. I think maybe we startled them, or we definitely did startle them, but obviously, we're sitting a good 300 feet away from the carcass now, more than that, and they could easily come back, and they're not nervous enough on foot for them not to come back. So maybe they've just decided to go and have a snooze somewhere close by, or just move on. Anyway, something's going to happen at that carcass. I don't think we'll sit here the whole drive. I would like to give this another 5 minutes or so before we decide to move on. Tingana will probably pick up the smell of it wherever he is and come through here and put it in a tree and hopefully feed on it for 2 or 3 days. And maybe Tundi would come through and scavenge it. There could also be some hyenas, so there's definitely going to be some action here at some stage during the course of the day. We're looking around, listening to the dawn chorus breaking all around us, and unfortunately there is nothing in the way of wild dog at the moment. No, Elizabeth, I don't think the smell of human would keep them away from the kill. They have very strong noses, they have strong ears, and they have strong eyes. And they would see us where we're sitting. I mean, even though we are 100 meters, so 350 feet odd away from them, it wouldn't affect them at this distance. I've watched wild dogs killing and eating on foot much closer than this. So it wouldn't be the smell of us or the sight of us. The smell, you know, they would probably smell a bit of human around there, but they'd quickly see that we weren't around. They'd spot us over here. So I don't think that would keep them away from the carcass, no. If I did, we'd just back off immediately. Hang on a second. Senzo and Sydney apparently are wondering if it's a good idea to leave the flat cat Hosanna and follow up on the dogs. Well, they can certainly try that. I will say that there are only two road options, Gallagher Shortcut and Mvubu Road. But I think that the dogs have headed off into the block north of where we are now, which is not drivable unless you happen to have a microlight, bulldozer or motorbike. Right, so we're going to spend another 5 minutes here, and then I think that we'll press on and see what else we can find. I'm hoping against hope they'll come back to it, but I think at this stage they've probably decided we've eaten enough. Let's press on. I keep seeing little flashes through the bushes behind the carcass, but I think those are birds just flitting from one spot to the next. I can't believe we saw a wild dog on foot. That's wonderful. We really do get quite a lot of action on foot on some days, which is fantastic. All right, one thing that we haven't seen on foot for a while is a cheetah. Brent Leo Smith, of course, is not on foot, but he has got his patience pants on, and I would like you to ask him to show them to you as he sits with his cheetah.
Look at that. And see how alert she is, ears up. What has she spotted? She spotted something off to the north of us. There were some Thompson's gazelles. There's some zebra coming in now as well. I think she's looking at the zebra that are walking in. Could be there were some Tommies behind us. But she seems to be focusing her attention on baby Thompson's gazelles at the moment. And James Henry is mocking my patience pants, and that's because he doesn't have any patience pants, and he's too impatient to put patience pants on. James Henry would like to see my patience pants. Okay, I will show you my patience pants. I've actually taken them off, but they're here in person. Or in theory. It's the pants I wear when it's cold in the morning, but they are still here. James would like to see the patience pants. They are patience pants. That's what patience pants looks like, James. I can get you a pair when I get back to South Africa. Now, of course, they're metaphorical pants. It's more about judging when to sit and when to wait with an animal. And judging from the very skinny tummy she has, she's a good bet for today. So Jojo also thinks it's Kekenya. So I've sent. Apparently it is Kekenya, I have to admit. Scott Dyson is laughing at me, saying it is Kekenya, it is Kekenya. It's a cheetah. It's a cheetah. But apparently it is Kekenya, which is quite interesting. I've never seen Kekenya up this far to the northwest before. But of course with the burnt area, it could be attracting the cheetah. The last cheetah I actually saw very close to here was Naratoy. But apparently it is Kekenya. So the mother of Naratoy and an Assyrian. Very, very conscious of all the movement that's going around. And she's even watching the vultures that are flying. Joy in the United Kingdom would like to know, what is a cheetah ID kit, and would it be possible for the viewers to get them at some point? Joy, our cheetah ID kits come from a scientific organization, and I'm not 100% sure if we are able to share them on social media. We can probably make up our own cheetah ID kits. So a cheetah ID kit is basically just a photograph of a cheetah, left, right, face, tail, and you're looking for, like with leopards, you're looking for any very easily recognizable spots, or in a lot of cases with cheetah, the rings on the tail. So it just depends on the individual and what is the easiest to identify. So, for example, you see on her, let's go to the right slightly there, James, on her leg. So that grouping of spots on her back left leg would be a nice, easy sort of spot section to identify. Cheetah are quite difficult in comparison to leopards. I would say the most difficult of the big cats to do ID kits on is lions, because without those individual spots to tell us exactly who they are, it can be quite difficult. So if you have a look there, another interesting ID would be on the right side of her face. She's turned it away now, but you see those spots. There was 3 very distinct, sort of almost like beauty spots in a row on the right side of her face. Would be a good identifying feature for Kekenya. Now, Kekenya is the cheetah I've spent the least time with out of the ones we see in the Mara Triangle. I've definitely spent more time with Naratoy and Naserian and the 2 border boys. So quite nice to actually spend some time with her before I leave the Mara. And for those of you who watched the Gauntlet series, you will remember Scott Dyson going, "It's Kekenya!" quite loudly in quite a few of the clips that were played. So I'll do it for Scotty. "It's Kekenya!" Of course, Scotty will be back on drive on the 16th of September. And I'm sure quite a few of you are quite excited to have Scotty back on safari. For me, cheetah always look like they're a little bit grumpy. Now, probably makes sense because of the pressure they feel from all the other predators, unlike lions that, sort of lounge about in complete ease, not worrying about anything. Cheetah look, a very upset Sooty chat just flew past. They sort of look a little bit grumpy or anxious, probably, rather than grumpy. And it pays to be anxious as a cheetah when you are the bottom of the large predator food chain. So even a big group of vultures will push a cheetah off a kill. Now, they are so nervous about being injured. Even a bite from a vulture or something could cause enough damage that they would possibly not be able to hunt or whatnot. So once you get to a group of about 30 or 40 vultures, that is enough to actually make a cheetah abandon its kill and run off. Of course, the first sign of hyena or lion, and they are skedaddling. Now, of course, when there are 5 of you, like the musketeers, they do put up a little bit more of a fight, particularly against hyenas. But as a general rule, if any other large predator shows up, they will abandon their carcass. So they, on average, and again, these are averages. It all depends on area, because a lot of that stuff is very area dependent rather than species dependent. That on average, throughout Africa, cheetah lose about 80% of what they kill to other predators. You can feel that Mara wind starting to pick up. Well, we sit here with our cat. Let's hope Sydney can find some dogs.
I am now by the Mvubu Road just to try and assist James, who is on a guided walk with regards to the reallocation of the wild dogs. I left Hosanna alone that side now because I saw that there was not much happening. The food is there, everything is there, so we will go back and see Hosanna very shortly. I'm now just trying to assist the bushwalk team to see if we can find again the wild dogs. So they have been spotted coming much more towards this side. But they're not calling this morning. Maybe it's because they've just eaten something. Sarah, the wild dogs, they don't really return to their old kill because competition is too high. Leaving behind something on the ground, coming back, the chances of not finding it, they are very much high. So wild dogs are one of those animals that are catching on the ground and they don't have an ability to drag food up into a tree. So coming back will always be a waste of time because other scavengers such as small predators, jackals, and the big predators, hyenas, as well as the vultures, they will come and eat the food. So not a long time ago, I was somewhere by Central where the wild dogs caught a big impala. And then afterwards, Tandy and Kalamba came and finished the rest. That is the day I saw Kalamba trying to use her own strength to drag a very big carcass into a tree, which was difficult, but surely he was assisted later on by Tandy. So the wild dogs, they don't really have a tendency of coming back to the old food. Margarita, the predators, they do eat the stomach content. They drink this stomach juice. And the stomach juice on these animals, some of them can also be very much medicinal to us. Because I know that some of the animals, such as the bushbucks, if you got a cut, let's say you've got a cut here, and it's a big cut. If you take the intestine of a bushbuck and just put it there, following morning, it is going to recover very quickly. Not true at all for these dogs here. Maybe they are still in this block. So now let's go back to James, who first got wild dogs, and here if you got some updates where he is at the moment.
The only update we have for you is that we have found the national insurance number card of somebody, I'm assuming, from the United States. Where this person is or what happened to them, I don't know. Anyway, we've left the carcass because, as we suspected, nothing's come back to it. We'll do a little circle around, see if we can't find the dogs. I suspect quite strongly that they've headed off somewhere quite far, possibly to hunt again, I don't know. So, we continue. Rick, shall we carry on this way? No, Melita, they don't, and that's why we are more than happy to try and find them on foot, and why we were very excited when we saw them and we didn't run away yowling and screaming. Wild dogs do not attack people. I don't know of any fatalities caused by wild dogs. I'm sure there have been some over the hundreds of thousands of years that humans and wild dogs have been interacting around here. But I don't think you'll find that they are, of course, any in modern times. Probably young children maybe in ancient times. But we have often seen wild dogs on foot, and they're a real pleasure. They tend to quite enjoy being around us. Well, they don't quite enjoy it, but they are quite curious about us. The very first time that I saw wild dogs on foot, I was doing what we called the unarmed walks. The unarmed walks where I used to work were as part of the training that we did, and for 10 days we'd walk the reserve unarmed. Yes, the rest of the wallet. We'll have a look through this now. For 10 days we'd walk unarmed, and I remember I saw a pack of 20 dogs on my 4th or 5th day, and I was clueless and terrified, and I didn't really know what to do. And so, I didn't know if they were a threat or not. So I went "Futhek" when I saw them, because I was afraid that they would maybe try and bite me. And obviously they didn't try and bite me at all. They just left. We had a wonderful sighting. I want to show you the name of this person. Nat West, isn't that British? And Boots is British as well. Well, let's just hope we don't find the rest of this dear lady. All right, we're going to go across to Brent, 10 seconds, because he's got something going on.
Welcome everyone. So Kenya just went into some rocks and we lost sight of her for a second, but now if you have a look at that Thompson's gazelle, lift a little bit to the left, a little bit to the left, there she is, right behind the Tommy. The Tommy is completely unaware that she is there. Welcome live to the Masai Mara. We have a Thompson's gazelle that's being stalked by a female cheetah. Oh, it spotted her. It spotted her. Unluckily for her, it spotted her before she could get very close to it. That is Kenya, the female cheetah. Oh my goodness, that was so exciting. That Tommy has spotted her. And, I thought that Tommy was done for sure. My name is Brendan Smith. I got James on camera, and there is a very lucky young male Thompson's gazelle who spotted her before she could get close. There's the Thompson's. You can see it staring at her and snorting at her now. You can see the little snorts. You might not be able to hear them over the wind. I'll try to keep quiet for a second. Little quiet snorts. Those are alarm snorts. That Tommy very nearly became a breakfast for Kenya, the female cheetah. Now she's moving back through the rocks again, up to our right, and there's a lot of food around for her, so she might get a little bit more lucky a little bit later. Isn't she gorgeous? And you can see the Olololo escarpment as the backdrop there. Beautiful. Now, she is going to disappear behind a gardenia, and I'm going to have to move the vehicle to keep up with her. That was very exciting. That happened in an instant. That's why when you're 100% live in the African bush, you do not know what's going to happen next. Monique says, sorry for the cheetah. Hopefully she has better luck next time. I hope so, Monique. I'm going to be sticking with her all day, I think. We're going to stick with her until she manages to catch something. Let's just get you another nice look of Kenya walking along the ridge. There she is. Isn't that beautiful? It looks like she's going to sit down. Oh, she's flopped down into the rocks. And unfortunately, those rocks are quite big. We can't really get closer to her at the moment, but so we're going to sit here and wait to see what she gets up to in the next little while. Looking almost a little bit upset that she didn't catch that Tommy. But remember to keep an eye on the SafariLive logo. See when we go live again. You never know when it might happen. But for now, I'm going to stay with this cheetah till she hunts again. Sure, wasn't that exciting. That was so close. And I think she got almost a bit too excited, thinking it was a bit too easy to approach. And she got spotted by that Tommy. Now she's lying up in the rocks, and unfortunately we can't get any closer to her. Those rocks are a bit too big, even for our vehicles to go through. And we don't feel like being stranded here. We'd rather wait to see when she comes out of the rocks. I'm pretty sure she will hunt again this morning, looking at that concave belly of hers. And actually, oh, there she is. No, have I lost sight of her? I can't see her anymore. Can you see her? Oh, yes, there she is. I can't see her, but the camera can see her, which is, oh, there she is. I see her now. Just lying amongst the boulders. Tom would like to know, what is the second fastest land animal after a cheetah? I'm not sure. Maybe a pronghorn. It all depends. It depends on how you rate speed and for what distance they can keep up. Because I mean, leopard can do 24 meters per second, but they can't do it for very long, which is about 90 kilometers or 80 something kilometers an hour. I think it's probably the pronghorn antelope, or maybe an ostrich, which is the second fastest. I'm not 100% sure though, Tom. That was a very exciting. And as I say, I don't think she's done yet. I think she will get up and start moving and hunting again in the next little while. I really thought she'd got herself in the best spot there with the rocks and whatnot. I thought that Tommy was done for. Oh, I can hear a testicular calling. I can't see it though. Dash would like to know, can cheetah crouch and slink like leopards can? They do, not quite to the same degree as leopards. They're not going to get as close to the ground. With their incredible speed, they will generally rely on the fact that they are able to run something down over a distance, whereas a leopard can't keep up their speed for a distance and need to get very close. So no, they can't crouch quite as low and slink quite as low as a leopard can, but they are a cat, so they can crouch and slink. So now that everything's calmed down here with Kekenya, I'm going to send you back to James so you can finish rifling through someone's wallet and telling you a story about wild dogs.
I think I'd finished my wild dog story anyway. It was a wonderful experience, my first wild dog experience on foot, but left me feeling with a sense of regret because I had told them to go away because I was afraid. But I was clueless in those days, so I forgave myself. Now, we have rifled through that wallet and can tell you that the credit card expired in May of 2011. So whoever that person is, and I know her name, you don't know, she's hopefully got herself a new card by now. because if she's still looking for that one, I suspect she's a skeleton. She was from England, and that's all I can tell you about her, really. Should probably look her up when I get back and see if we can't repatriate her belongings. As Louise says, imagine receiving your wallet after 7 long years of it hiding in the wilderness. All right, we found a few more tracks of the dogs. They've been running up and down here. We found the end of what looked like an impala's tail, but I'm not sure what happened to the rest of the impala unless they carried it from the carcass that we had earlier. There are still tracks of the wild dogs all around here, and there was also a kind of fairly distinctive smell. But we haven't managed to find any animals on the end of the smell, and so we're still looking for tracks. It's very clear that they came through here. There is lots of evidence of impala running and them running, and possibly even the odd hyena running. But no further evidence of the actual dogs. Right, Sidders is obviously also on the search. He is somewhere around this block, so let's go and find out if he's had any luck.
I am now passing by the quarantine area, going back to the little chief Hosanna and see if he's going back to the carcass or not. I gave up on wild dogs that side because I saw that the tracks are heading towards the private concession, so I don't have access to that area, so I'm going back to my original plan. So here is very much quiet by the quarantine, and the wind is blowing from where Hosanna is in the carcass to the quarantine area. Maybe it's something which is contributing towards the other species activities here today. So I hope he's going back to the tree now for feeding purposes, because he hasn't eaten much from that carcass. Oh, Jenny, I have lost your question. FC, if you can repeat that for me. Jenny, during the olden days, there has been some of those kind of incidents recorded. Those kind of cats can be very dangerous because their canines, they are very long, up to 8 to 10 millimeters. That is very much long. So the leopards can possibly attack a human, but only when they are cornered. It's not those animals that can go out for hunting humans. They don't do that. Only if they don't have an escape route and they feel threatened and cornered is when you can take that kind of an action. So now here I can hear that the monkeys, they are giving some warning calls. I'm sure they are worried about the presence of Hosanna here. I can't even see where these monkeys are, but I can hear that the type of song they are singing is about Hosanna. We don't want you here. You are too dangerous. Oh, he's still there, the same spot. I can see now he's lying down there. And he's not even worried. He's not entertaining the monkeys at all. He is not entertaining them at all. Yeah, that is an alarm call from the monkeys. So there's quite a lot of interesting dependencies amongst these animals. Completely different species, they benefit each other when it comes to the presence of the predators in the area. So that kind of a call, the other animals, they can pick it up and be wary about the predators in the area. But I'm sure that these other species don't really understand what exactly the monkey is saying when he's calling like that. But they know it's an alarm call. So I'm trying to check. Ray, the leopards, if you can look at the spots, the arrangement of the spots is not the same at all. So each one of them has got its own stripe pattern, similar to our fingerprints. It also applies to the zebras and giraffes. So these animals, if you can check, Hosana, for example, it's very easy to distinguish between Hosana and Tingana and other leopards. If you look here on the neck, Hosana has got kind of a necklace. If he wakes up here, I will show you. But apart from that, these leopards, if you look here by the ears, they have got some notches. And these notches help us in order to identify them. So look at there, you can see there's a notch there, there's a cut on that ear. So that is a notch. So each one of them has got a notch which is located on a different position from the other. So those kind of animals calling the monkeys are the ones which got a very good access when they are predators, because they can climb trees high up to the canopy, to the top, so they can be able to see these trees, these predators from very far. And leopards, they also like animals such as baboons. So they climb up trees and catch baboons. They prefer the baboons' meat a lot. So now, let's see, in the Masai Mara, Brent has got another spotted, flexible cat, which is also very good on hunting activities. Let's see how the cheetah is doing.
Well, she's decided to stand up, so we can definitely get a better view of her now. And she's perusing the plains for potential prey. So far, it doesn't look like she's spotted anything that's caught her interest particularly, but she might get up and on the move shortly. And you can see the wind is starting to blow a bit. Not too bad just yet, but I think the wind is going to pick up as the day goes on. Vicky is asking, do we know how old Kenya is? I'm not 100% sure, Vicky. But she is one of the older females in the Mara Triangle, because of course Naratoy and Naserian are her daughters. She's also been one of the more successful mothers as cheetah go in the Mara Triangle, and she has successfully raised a litter of 5 before. How old she is, I think she's about 7 or 8, maybe a bit older. I'm not 100% sure. I have to double check with the cheetah information I have. Let's see, where did I put that now? I'll ask Mr. Dyson, maybe he knows. Coming straight towards us. Now, her name, Kakenya, means dawn in Ma, in the Maasai language. Oh, isn't that beautiful? Coming straight towards us. tripped over a rock there. 6, there we go. Thank you, James. James says Kenya is 6. Cheetah very seldom live beyond 10 in the wild. I'm not sure who her mother was. Shamsung is wondering, do termites eat small things? Do cheetah eat small things like termites and other insects? I would say, as a general rule, no. They have to be very, very hungry to do that. Okay, she's going behind the car. They'd have to be very, very hungry to do that. They do eat a lot of things like scrub hares, occasionally even Korans or bustards. I can't see where she's gone. Where has... Oh, she's gone sniffity, 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 sniffity. She's gone to sniff the gardenia. So there she is. She's gone up to sniff the gardenia. Now, of course, these gardenia trees are very important, particularly with cheetah in the Mara, as they are scent marked regularly by different cheetah. So if there was going to be another cheetah in this area, oh, give me a little stretch, it would have almost certainly done the same thing as she has. There we go. You can see she's defecating up there. So cheetah like to defecate up high and scent mark. And these gardenia trees attract the cheetah, so they will... Well, it's sort of like a big signpost for them. And gardenias are one of their particular favorites, especially in this area where there's quite a lot of Balanites trees. So gardenias, and they also provide very good shade. So cheetah will not only defecate, but they'll also sleep under the shade of the gardenia. Oh, where she's gone. Off she goes. I love it when they do this. Sometimes they just decide to have a little jog. There she is. And you'll see Scott Dyson there in the background. His parents are visiting him, so he's not at work, but his mom and dad are with him, and they are also following Kenya. That's why it was really funny when I was mocking Scott about, it's Kenya! There you go, Scotty's waving. Oh, she tripped. So Scott's waving. There we go. Because he was sitting 2 meters from me when I said, it's Kenya! But anyway... We're gonna keep following Kenya as she's on the hunt and on the move. Now there's some wildebeest up ahead of us and zebra, but I think she is going to look. Ooh, there's a big hole. I will inform Scott that you are waving back. He can't see you waving, just so you know. I'm only teasing, of course. But we're just going to keep with her for now. And quite often, you would think it's quite easy to spot stuff, but Thompson's gazelles and whatnot can be quite difficult to spot on these open areas. And hopefully, for her sake, she finds them. She's been eating almost exclusively baby Tommies, from what I've heard, for the last couple of days. Oh, and we saw yesterday she had a tiny little Tommy. So we're going to keep going around. What I think I am going to do is shoot ahead. See if there's any prey. I think there are some Tommies there. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. It's going to take me a little while. It's going to be a bit bumpy, but I'll keep a long distance eye on her. So if she does hunt, we don't want to be in a position where we're going to affect her or affect the Thompsons. So while I get myself into the ideal position, let's send you back to Sydney.
Oh, look at that. The duiker is still hanging out by the tree. I can see that it was a female duiker, as the male duikers carry horns and females don't. So Hosanna is not very far away from where this carcass is. It's at a distance of less than 150 meters. So he is watching anything and everything coming near this marula tree. So if you can check the arrangement of the branches from the stem on this tree, you will see that the marula trees, they don't start to spread their branches close to the ground. They grow a very long stem and then spread. So which is very good for this leopard to hang their carcasses. Because some of the trees, they start to spread their branches very close to the ground. And this kind of behavior this tree is doing does help the trees a lot because it does regulate the browsing activities. So it's trying to keep away the leaves from the browsing animals. The song I can hear is still on, and now the monkey is coming closer and closer. So this monkey is trying to show me that the leopard is here, not aware that I have seen this leopard before him when he was still sleeping early this morning. So the big baboons and monkeys, they go high up the trees. Those are called the sentinels. The sentinels are responsible of the occupational health and safety of the whole group. So when the troop is out, one of them is responsible of safety. And this one must have to look all the time, because one mistake is going to jeopardize the life of the whole troop. So the monkeys can also be very much interesting. If this leopard runs now and stand underneath that tree, that monkey is not going to climb down. He's going to be on top there, and when they are threatened, when they feel stressed, they just defecate. They just defecate. So you don't have to stress the monkeys and stand underneath the trees, because otherwise they are just going to defecate everywhere. You have to be very careful. So now let's quickly go to Brent in the Masai Mara. The cheetah is now trying to show some hunting activities.
It's so quick that we all missed it. She found a baby Tommy in the grass, and in seconds she had caught it. So let's just move around to the front of her. Literally, it was so quick. It was over in absolute seconds. So it was a little baby Thompson's gazelle that was being hidden in the grass, and she just took off and was gone and caught it within 2 seconds. So not even a quick link was quick enough, and that is nobody's fault. She's still suffocating it though. Here we go. Wow, that was fast. Little baby Tommy. So for some people this might be a little bit hard to watch, but the cheetah has got to eat. Now that is, she caught a baby Tommy yesterday, and I think she is sticking to a baby Tommy a day keeps the hunger away. So you can see the baby Tommy is still alive, but she is suffocating it. So she's used her canines to sink into the flesh around the esophagus, and that gap between her molars and premolars is pinching closed the esophagus. So shouldn't be alive for too much longer. Small baby like this probably takes a minute or 2, sometimes 3 to die. You can see, even though she didn't run for too far, you can see how heavily she's breathing already. You can probably hear the wind picking up quite heavily. Lauren, hello. Lauren is wondering how often did cheetah eat. He's worried about hyenas. Lauren, it completely depends on what they eat, but something like a baby Tommy, they'll have to eat almost every single day. But if they catch something bigger, like an adult Tommy, and they're not chased off it by hyenas or lions or leopard, they will possibly eat once every 2 to 3 days. But with small prey like this, every day. Baby Tommies, scrub hares, and the like. My goodness, that was so quick. You can see she's making sure that it is very dead, because I've often seen cheetah think a baby Tommy's dead, let it go, and then it disappears, runs off. Lynn is asking, why was this baby Tommy alone? Oh, look at this tawny eagle already has spotted her. Yeah, tawny eagle. Now, once the tawny has seen her, the vultures might see the tawny and come in. And the tawny eagle is just landing. So incredible how quick that was. You can see that the lapwings are not happy to have the eagle around. And you can see she's now successfully suffocated the little Tommy. She's let it go. She's catching her breath, and I think she's probably going to move to the shade. She'll probably drag it quite shortly. I must say, baby Tommies are definitely one of the cheetah's sort of favorites. Oh, how's that leopard-faced vulture already as well? Out of nowhere. See how quick that was. One tawny eagle dropped, and now the vultures are arriving. Jonathan would like to know, will she be able to eat the ribs of such a small gazelle? Possibly. She might struggle a bit with the vertebra. Sorry, I've just spotted another bird that caught my attention. Oh, it's gone now. It looked like an Angolan swallow. So you'll probably find she's going to move it quite shortly. She'll drag it to the closest shade. She might even go back to the gardenia where we had her on top of the termite mound, or she could go to one of the balanites. She might even just drag it to one of the small bushes. But she's going to want to avoid the attentions of the vultures and the eagles. But not only will the vultures pose a potential thief, well, they are potentially thieves to her kill, but the vultures dropping might attract some unwanted attention from lions or hyenas. See how quickly she's still breathing, still catching her breath. Well done, Kekenya. Poor baby Tommy though. Cecilia is wondering, will she attack birds of prey if they come too close? Yes, she will, Cecilia. But as I say, once they get to be a certain number, that might be too much for her. She can't risk injury. Absolutely amazing how quickly that happened. Leon says she looks very proud of herself, and so she should be, Leon, and so she should be. Not quite the meal she lost earlier with that bigger Tommy, but definitely still a good meal. She'll take a while to catch her breath before dragging, or carrying, not so much dragging, it's too small, the carcass into the shade. Oh, I think I've lost my comms. Lou, can you go again? I didn't get any of that. I think I've got a problem with my cable here. Okay, well, we're going to sit here and wait for her to move this baby Tommy into the shade. While we do that, let's send you back to Commander Bond.
Here is ex-Oily, or Oli. Oli is now going to face another spiky tree test, like the one we did the other day. Oli, please tell me what this is. Now he knows what it is, but he's now double guessing himself.
Let me confirm first.
You're going to confirm first.
Yeah, I want to confirm something. This is not a green thorn.
Is it not a green thorn?
I believe so.
It is green, and it has thorns, indicating that it is probably a
green thorn or a num-num, between the two.
A green thorn or a num-num between the two.
But I believe it's a green thorn.
You are correct, it is a green thorn. Phew! Well done. Right. So this is a baby Balanites Magami tree. I must speak to him about doing that again. He's going to run into a buffalo one day. I hope that doesn't happen. And they are quite confusing. This and the num-num look very similar when they are this size. The difference, of course, being at the moment that the num-num has got a double thorn, Carissa bispinosa. It's got two, and this one only has one. But they can look like two. Now, when we get on to Carissa edulis, of course, which only has one thorn, much like this, then we will be on to advanced green thorn num-num identification, which I'm sure all of you are looking forward to enormously. Yes. We have not found any further predators around here, but we have got word that the pack of dogs, not necessarily the same one we saw, but a pack of 4 adults and 6 babies, has just come out of the Manileti and are heading slowly down this way. We may get them, we may not. They are inside Buffelshoek still. Buffelshoek is the reserve to the north of us. So we might get lucky with them. We are also in the vicinity of where Tandi and Hosanna had their spat yesterday. And if you didn't see that, go along to Facebook and watch the highlight, or just go and replay the whole scene on yesterday's drive. That was with Taylor and Senzo on camera. And so maybe we'll have Tandi, maybe we'll have some wild dogs, I'm not sure. But at the moment all is very quiet. Lauren, I don't know that he does get lost all the time. Wild dogs get lost on the hunt very often, and that's why they've got those great big ears. So I think you'll find that he probably doesn't get lost that much more often than anyone else, but it is a very new pack, and so perhaps they just don't know each other's hunting patterns very well. John, here is a spider that has overwintered here on this Pogonathra squarosa grass. And I suspect, I actually don't know which spider it is. There is a small flying termite stuck in there. Poor thing. First of the season. No, it's not even a termite. Looks like a small hymenopterid of sorts. Anyway, that spider will shortly be very active once it gets a little bit warmer, and then it will devour the meal that has been caught in its overwintering home. Mm-hmm. All right, we're going to go up here, see if we can find some more Tundi tracks, perhaps pick up on those dogs while we go back to Hosanna, who unfortunately is still fast asleep.
So I can see that none of these other animals, other leopards, as well as the hyenas, they are not interested to come here. It doesn't have any competition at the moment. He has been resting here since the beginning of the sighting until now. Not moving, same spot, but the head is still facing towards the carcass. Maybe he's gonna wake up anytime soon and walk to the carcass and start feeding. Dalton, I didn't copy your question very nicely, and I just hear you comparing the leopards together with the domestic cats. I'm just trying to get that question very well. So the meaning of the word pair is confusing me at this stage. I haven't seen that kind of a behavior happening with the leopards. Yes, it's a behavior that I've seen a lot done by the domestic cats, but the leopards, I'm not too sure if they can also do that kind of a behavior. So I'm very much surprised why Hosanna is not going up to the carcass. The difference between the cheetah and the leopard is very simple. First, if you look at the body size of the leopard, it's much bigger than the cheetah. And something you must have to check always, the face of the cheetah is thin, and the cheetah has got very small teeth, whereas the leopard has got very long teeth. And the mouth of the leopard is... Here comes the main difference. If you look here on the face, if you look here on the face of these two, the leopard doesn't have anything here apart from the spots. The cheetah has got a tear mark which is going down here as if he has been crying or is crying every day. So those are the main difference. The leopard doesn't have a flexible body compared to the cheetah. Yes, they are both flexible, but the cheetah is very thin and their body is very long. And cheetahs are very taller than the leopards. So something else that I have seen that is battling the cheetahs too much, which is different from a leopard, is that when the cheetah has got a kill, it's very difficult for them to open an animal. because of the teeth, and also to swallow the big pieces of meat is difficult because the mouth is too small, whereas the leopards can be able to do that. So now let's go to Brent, who is looking at the cheetah by the Masai Mara at the moment.
Well, she proved us all wrong. We were all trying to guess which bush she was going to drag it to before she started eating. Instead, she just started eating. So it's still quite cool this morning, and cool breeze, cool wind. So a small Tommy like that, she's just decided, I'm going to eat it right here. Now, even on a small carcass like this, she started on the rump, where there is the most viable meat, and cheetah will often do that. So they'll try eat the biggest, softest pieces of meat first, where there's no bones, etc., just in case they get chased off by another predator. So it's a way to maximize what they've caught. Oh, she's got her lipstick on this morning. And I suppose, what color would you call it? Baby Tommy red. And she'll also then go for the internal organs, heart, liver, lungs. And Louise says Thompson's Rouge. Yes, it's probably a bit better than Baby Tommy Red. So she has done quite well this morning. Oh, there we go, you can see she's getting really, really stuck in. Lynn is asking, can the big cats get sick or catch diseases from their prey? Yes, even though they're very resilient, they can do. For example, the majority of the lions in the Greater Kruger have feline TB, and that is from eating buffalo, and of course the transference of bovine tuberculosis onto the lions. Oh dear, sorry, I'm just watching another car. It looks like he's stuck. I wonder if we're going to have to go rescue him. Canadian. Sorry, I'm watching this guy who's stuck in a hole. It's quite funny. Canadian would like to know what teeth. Sorry, this guy is really funny who's stuck. I know I shouldn't be laughing. What's that? Oh no, sorry, it's just a zebra chasing. I thought I saw a hyena coming. But it's so sorry, this is very distracting how you get stuck in the driest part of the Mara where there's no mud. But anyway, so I've forgotten the question now completely. Sorry about that. No, we're not going to put the camera on and embarrass the poor lady. What teeth do the big cats use to open their kills? They use their molars and premolars as cutting teeth. So they'll turn their heads sideways, and it's basically like a very strong pair of side cutters. Now, we're not going to stay too much longer here because we have been spotted and the masses are on their way at speed towards us. So we've been lucky enough to be treated to having this beautiful cat all to ourselves. So there is a rule in the Mara, a maximum of 5 vehicles per big cat sighting, and I can see about 8 on their way towards me right now. So we'll stay a little bit longer, and then I think we'll leave and make space for the other people to enjoy and go see if we can find the sausage tree pride. So I'm going to make my way out, and while we do that, let's send you back to Master Henry.
Yes, back over to us. We're over here, walking along the road towards where we think the wild dogs will come out into Juma. They've been coming down towards this area, but unfortunately it seems like they may have gone to sleep about 50 meters north of the boundary. So we're still going to walk down here and see if they don't pop down south. It would be very nice to see 4 adult dogs and 6 little baby puppy tiny things. Wouldn't that be nice? We're just listening carefully for any signs. All I can hear is a crested barbet. Otherwise all is quiet. We will go back and check that carcass, I think, before the end of the drive. Now, while we wait for Rexon to go down there and check what's happening, this, of course, is a piece of elephant dung. And the thing about elephant dung is that it is a great coal. And if you are ever burning a fire break, or perhaps burning a block to get off the moribund material, this is what you've got to watch out for most of all. There's some termites under there, so I'm going to recover them up. They hold heat and they will they will smoulder for probably 2 or 3 days after you burn. If you get a proper fire into this dung and then you don't see it, it doesn't glow unless it's dark. And so you've got to be very careful that every single piece of elephant dung anywhere near the boundary of where you've done your burn is out. This particular one hardly got started, so I don't think there was much of an issue here. But many is the time that I've seen a fire go out of control because it's been put out seemingly, everyone goes home for a drink, and you look to the south or to the north and suddenly there's a pall of smoke coming out of the bush. And it's because the winds come up, it's picked up a little spark from one of these things and it's jumped over the fire break and set it alight. And so where I used to work in the land management side of things at Londolozi, for example, where that did happen to me actually, we had to have a whole crew sitting with elephant dung basically all night long. They would traverse up and down the fire break, making sure that all of the elephant dung was out. Nightmare stuff if you're trying to do a burn. I wonder, Chandra, if you don't want to come and have a look at the termitans that we have over here. We haven't seen many termites for some time, and there we have got some very sun-sensitive vampire termites. I call them vampire termites, of course, because they cannot be out in the sun. They don't like it. There's no melanin in their skins at all. And they live under the ground here, probably in this piece of elephant dung, actually. Isn't that nice? They found themselves some lovely home to eat, basically. Oh, no. You know, I really don't like seeing this sort of thing. Look at that. Can you see there, Jean-Andre? There's a murder. Beastly ants have got into the termite mound. They're murdering this termite. Now they're carrying it away. It's surprising how often you see this. How often you find termites being murdered by ants. Seemingly with impunity. You know, I've actually never seen a soldier termite do anything to an ant. There's another one being murdered there. Well, sorry chaps, I guess we'll put the cover back on your death. Another live kill, Jojo, as you say. Another live kill. The other thing just to mention here quickly, just from a personal point of view, is the smell of this burnt grass. And I always associated it with my childhood when we used to go off to the Drakensberg Mountains in August and they would burn fire breaks there. And I remember that as being one of the first places that I was really touched by wilderness. And I remember the crunch like this of the dry grass underfoot and the smell that it gave. Or the burnt grass, sorry. And so I'm always taken back to that time when I'm upon the fire break or something like that. If that's not relevant to the drive, of course. It was just me sharing my nostalgic reminiscences. Now, there is nothing coming out of Buffelshoek Hook at the moment. We'll sit here another 3 minutes and then we'll probably wind our way back towards the kill. In the meantime, let us go back across to Hosana, who is...
Hosana is still enjoying his sleep and not disturbed by anything here. He's just turning the sides every time. But looking at his stomach, it's not that very full. So, but I'm very much interested to see him walking because I want to see if those hyenas yesterday did him something or not. Look at those spots. You can see that these cats can be very, very much camouflaged. There's quite a lot of spots on them. But the black spots are much more dominating here. So it's amazing to see that the leopards, their front legs, they are not as thick as the lions ones. The lions, you can be able to see the muzzles, but these ones, they are stronger than lions. Leopards are stronger than lions because they can drag something very much big up into a tree. So it means their neck, the muzzle, are very much strong. But by the legs here, I'm not seeing the muzzles like we do when seeing the lions. Leon, the Osana, the little chief, must have to wake up. We want to see what he's thinking. He must go and climb that foot because all he's doing is just stretching every time and kicking and changing the sides. He looks very tired. So, oh, I can hear the hyenas. Oh, I can hear the hyenas from the southern side of the game reserve now. Oh, interesting. Oh, the birds are also now giving some kind of a warning signal about the hyenas. Hyenas are giving some calls now. At what time? Hyenas are calling at 22 minutes to 8. Interesting. They are calling every time, so we might see some we might see something very interesting because I can hear that the call is coming towards this direction. Maybe something is going to happen here. So, but Hosana at this stage, he seems very much ignorant. Because if I can hear that call, it means he can hear that call loudly. Because the irritability of the cat is very much good compared to ours. So he can be able to hear very well. They can hear more than 4 times than we do. So it means they can be able to pick up that hyena call from a very long distance. He knows very well that these hyenas calling from the southern side. Nice safari. I haven't seen something like that before. Maybe they're going to come straight to Hosana today. We might see that interesting. But yes, I have seen quite a lot of big clans moving in game reserve, but I've never seen them walking right onto a cat sleeping. So the wind is blowing from where the call is coming from. So I'm sure these hyenas can be able to pick up the information from the air particles about this kill right by the marula tree. I thought Hosanna, when he first heard the call from the hyenas, was going to react and check what's happening, because he just narrowly escaped a very big bite yesterday. I'm sure that when this hyenas comes here, he will have to run up to the tree where the carcass is. Or maybe those hyenas are also following Tingana. You will never know, because these hyenas, I have seen that they are always after these cats, just waiting to get a chance so that they can take away the food, like you saw yesterday. So in order to track the leopard these days, Ray, the hyenas, they are not fast runners. The leopards can run way much faster than the hyenas. The leopard can easily outrun the hyenas. But what we saw yesterday, I was very surprised, because the leopard, when Hosanna went up into that tree with the carcass, he was going too fast. And those hyenas, they just approached running, but they were not running too fast, but they managed to confuse him to drop down the carcass. So hyenas, they are not very fast runners. What is interesting about the hyenas is that they can keep the same pace of running for quite a long distance. They can keep same pace of running for approximately 5 kilometers. So they don't get tired very easily. So the calls are quiet at the moment. Maybe they are walking now, coming towards this direction. So this call is coming from the Philemon's deep side. So the sun is coming out a little bit. Maybe Hosanna's gonna now start going back to the carcass. So that is what I can't wait for. All I want is to see him going back to the carcass and see him eating, because I have seen him losing quite a lot of opportunity to catch. Today he got something to eat and he's not eating, and it's very bad, considering the fact that other leopards such as Tingana might come and eat the food. So now, while I'm still here, waiting for any action to take place, let's go back to James on a guided walk, who is now heading back to the impala carcass.
We are heading back towards the carcass, but it's going to take a little while to get there. The dogs have not come out of Buffelshoek. They are fast asleep, so we're not going to pursue that avenue of pleasure any longer. What we can look at here, though, however, is a Combretum bush, probably a large fruited bush willow, Combretum zayeri. We just need to look around here to see if we can find some pods to confirm. I see no pods. I cannot confirm, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And what we're looking at here is the fact that the elephants have pulled this thing out, mainly to get at the roots. And while they will certainly eat the bark of the main stems, probably the ones that are a bit younger than this one, what they do go for is the root bark. So the root has a bark covering, which is obviously slightly different from the covering of the bark on the main stems. And I suspect the cambium layer, the vascular layer, with the nutritious tissue is that much thicker on the roots, and that's why they go for them. And they dig them up in a way that no other creature is capable. And eventually you have a tree like this one over here, which, as I've mentioned before, has a outlandishly large diametered stem underground, but because it has coppiced so many times, it's grown so many times from the base. You can see there that, well, nothing above ground is more than 2 or 3 centimeters in width, but it's probably a very old tree. Now, because of the elephant's actions in areas like this, the vegetation shape is always modified, and that's why they're known as a keystone species. And if you look around us here, what you will see is a number of tall marula trees, and you will see a number of medium-sized combretum bushes. Everything that you can see that is not a marula tree, in other words, any of the tall trees, is a combretum, and they are maintained at this height by elephants. Without elephants, they would be as big and as tall as the marulas. They grow into trees that you can plank and make furniture from in the absence of elephants. But with elephants, they are kept like this. Now, the great elephant debate continues. Many people saying there are too many elephants, they're breaking all the trees. How are we supposed to cope with them, breaking all the trees? There are too many of them. Of course, it's all rubbish because nobody knows what too many elephants actually means in an area like this. And I suspect that if there were more elephants, we would just simply have a clearer area, may tend towards grassland. Yes, Smokey, that's exactly correct. Elephants do pretty much eat trees like you and I, or Bugs Bunny, might eat a carrot. Absolutely correct. And you can see the combretums are not showing no signs of new life just yet in this area. And I think that's probably because they're on a ridge crest, which means that the underground water is that much further below the surface than it is further down the slope, where some of the combretums are starting to flower already. Combretum, of course, is another term for bush willow. So that's what's going on over here in this rather seemingly bland landscape. We are around about the area where Thandi and Hosana had their spat yesterday. So that's sort of where we're going first before we make our way back towards the carcass. On we go. Looking for other interesting signs of the spring and the coming summer. I believe that Brent Leo Smith has managed to find some signal, and unfortunately he seems to have left his cheetah. I'm not sure why, but no doubt his patient's pants have told him to go somewhere else.
Welcome back. I'm going to go look for the sausages now. They were in this area yesterday morning, so maybe they've moved to a slightly better spot than where they were amongst the boulders, where we couldn't get nice and close to them. So we're just going to trundle south. I'm also going to look for that very big skittish pride of lions, the Ingarare pride, about 22 individuals at last count. So, and just have a look, see where the wildebeest are. There seem to be quite a lot further down to the south. So sausages will be happy about that. And maybe we'll get lucky and find those 2 new big male lions that have come in from the south. I think I did some checking on lions we'd seen in the past, and they are the same pride, the same 2 males that have been seen with the Oldonia Pike pride. And one of them is missing a testicle, which makes him quite easy to identify. So maybe they'll be about. So the sausages were over there yesterday morning. They could be anywhere. They move quite freely in this area at the moment. They don't go, so if they go too far south, they hit that big pride of lions. If they come north, there's other lions, but they definitely seem to have buddied up to the new boys, the Oldonia Pike males. And we're going to be out for most of the day, and we'll only head home just before the afternoon safari starts, and Gigi will be out. And so you never know, keep a lookout on those go live notifications, because I'm going to be hunting for action all day. It's starting to warm up, so every little bit of shade I'm checking carefully, see if there is a kitty sleeping underneath it. But what a fantastic morning so far. I mean, we've seen Kenya failed hunt, and then we saw, unfortunately only saw her after she caught that baby Tommy, but it was so quick. And let's see what else we can find this morning. Okay. Now decision time, decision time. Which way are we going to go?
Look at that. You can see the stomach is just breathing in, breathing. But I am not seeing a lot in that stomach. So this cat is still probably hungry. So sad to see that he doesn't want to go back to the tree after such a lot of days without eating anything. It's not too much in there. So this is what they do after having a lot of meal. Cats, they go and rest and just let the digestive system to eat everything, and after that is when you will see them up and running again. So if anything comes here, it might possibly attack, but when there's a lot in the stomach, it does restrict the opportunities of going too fast in order to catch anything. Anna Marie, Hosanna must be very hungry, because I saw that from the carcass, not a large portion has been eaten. There's just a little bit of meat that has been taken off out there. So I'm sure he's just relaxing, because remember, I'm not too sure when exactly he caught that carcass, because this is normal. The leopards, they go for hunting and they catch something, drag it up into a tree. After that, they must have to recover the strength so that they can eat. So it's normal for them to wait before they eat after a kill. So that is why these kind of spots that we are seeing on this animal helps them in order to hide, because they've got to wait until a prey comes very closer to a distance of about 5 meters and catch. Because if they go long distances on chasing, it's going to be a problem for them to defend the carcass, and they want to have much strength in order to take the carcass up into a tree. So they must catch something without losing a lot of energy and drag it up into a tree, make use of the energy, and then get tired. After that, recover and then go back to eat. So you can see that now he is yawning. Yawning has got nothing to do with what is in their stomach. This is normal to the cats. So the cats, they've got to yawn every time, and it helps them. When they're doing that, they manage to cool the temperature in the brain. So that's why other big cats, such as the lions as well, when they wake up, they do that. So sometimes sleeping, it does give them quite a lot of it tires them. So sleeping is very relaxing, but at the same time they get tired because they are sleeping from one side. That's why some of these animals, after sleeping, when they wake up, you will see them limping, because sleeping is also tiring. I am not too sure in terms of the exact temperature of the body of these animals in order to operate. But the problem is, apart from the normal temperature, when these animals are hunting and running, it generates quite a lot of heat. So that is why the other animals, such as the cheetahs, they don't run for a long time because the brain overheats. They must have to run. If they can't catch, they must have to give up so that the brain can cool again. Otherwise, they are standing a good chance of losing their life. He has not been using his tail at all. When he's sleeping, the tail is very much relaxed. Only the ears are moving. But when he's walking around is when you will see the tail works too much. So now is the time for the tail to rest. So now let's go back to James on a guided walk and see how his walks is going at the moment.
Well, here are some first signs of spring on the silver cluster leaf. You can just see some little buds emerging. Can you see that, Jean-Andre? No. No? Are you blind? Look here. Not only is it a bud, but it's a silver bud. It looks like it might not make it. But this one is amazing. It is going to become new silver leaves on the silver cluster leaf. Very good. No sign of Tundi yet. This is the scene of the crime yesterday. Somewhere here, where Hosanna was bitten on the bottom. Obviously that biting on the bottom he received yesterday inspired him to great hunting heights. Hunting heights? Yes. And in fact it was around here, that termite mound over there with the tree on it, that we first watched Hosanna and Tundi interact on that evening many, many moons back, where he was chuffing to her and she came closer and closer and she wouldn't allow him to pass her in a certain way. She did have a go at him. They didn't make any physical contact, and he was completely obsequious about his approaches to her, and she was having none of it. Yesterday, when food was in the offing, it would seem that Hosanna was much more inclined to have a physical box with her. It's one thing that is extremely unusual about Tundi, I think, is her willingness to engage physically with another animal. It's risky. It's a risky strategy. When you're a leopard. Oh my goodness, can you believe it? The fat prince has managed to raise himself, to move around a little.
Look at that. Now Hosanna is up and running, and he was crawling from where he was lying down to where he is now. You can even see his positioning, that he was crawling to there. So I'm not too sure what he is spotting, but it seems like he spotted something. You can see, look at that. You can see that his positioning is interesting. So it's like he's trying to open his armpits. Yeah, you can see that he is now in a position as if he's going to jump from there or fly. Look at that. So you can see that the stomach is breathing very fast. I'm trying to check what he's seeing here, but I can't see what he's seeing. And he went there very fast. Maybe he was dreaming. Janie, that is what I am waiting to see. I want him to stand so that I can see nicely how the back legs are going. And maybe he's now in the middle of a dream because he woke up very quickly and just crawled. Yeah, look, his legs looks like the chicken wings. You can see that it's like he's about to fly. So Hosanna is now bearing wings. I can't see what this cat is looking at, but he's looking at something ahead. There he goes again, his legs. Maybe now he's thinking about to go back to his carcass. Maybe instead of sleeping, he might go back there again, unless he's gonna again give breath and down. So at least now we can see that that is true. Hosanna is so very funny and it's very much strange. At night, he's now lying down there looking at the marula tree where the carcass is. So maybe he's gonna get back there. We might see some actions. See, he's yawning again. So the thing is, the cats, even if they don't see, so Hosanna, viewers wants to see you up and running. Go back to the food. You know, lots of cats, they don't only depend on the eyesight. You might find that he woke up just now because he picked something from the air that another leopard is coming. So because now he's very much observant, checking on the other side. It will be interesting seeing him going up there, climbing that tree and opening that carcass. Not much of the carcass is open. I can see now he is trying to clean himself. You can see his leg. So now, while I'm here waiting to see any action from Hosanna, let's go to Brand, who is driving by the Masai Mara, and see if he's going to be lucky with anything. You can see that he's still watching, and then he's also checking for his own safety. He's not only looking for the prey animals, he's looking for the prey animals while he's also considering his own safety. So this cat doesn't feel safe with the presence of hyenas. I saw this 2 days ago when he was attempting to hunt, and there were 3 hyenas. And every time hyenas were coming closer, he was running away. Every time they were coming closer, he was running away. He doesn't feel comfortable with their presence. He doesn't trust them at all. What is he looking at? I can't see. So now let's go back to Brent by the Masai Mara, who is just driving around, and see if he's going to be lucky with something.
Well, I've got comms back. I'm not sure what happened last time. So we are still heading down towards the west. There was a report of those 2 male lions in this area. However, now that it's quite late, and we've got to sort of hope that they pop their head up, because if their head is down and in the grass, or in one of these, or in one of the thickets along the edge of the river here, they're going to be very difficult to spot. But we will try our best. Also, there's a good chance the sausage tree pride might be somewhere in this area, so we'll have a good scratch about down here. Bex, we need to complete the big cat trifecta once again. So, well, I take it that means you want me to find lions, because I don't know if James and Sydney are going to have any luck. I'll try my best, Beck, I will. There's always a good chance along here. It's looking in the shade now, it has got quite warm. There are still some big herds of wildebeest a little bit further to the south of us. Well, apparently all the pressure is on me to find the big cats this morning. Well, I suppose Jim has produced its leopard. But, well, we'll see. That's one thing, you never know. There could be a lion around the next corner. Now, where could they be? Oh, big bump. Quite often like this spot here. There's a nice bit of water, decent bit of shade. I've seen the Ngarare pride, the big pride, up here before, as well as the sausages here. So I say the sausages are quite difficult to find at the moment because they're under so much pressure from other prides that they have become a bit erratic in their movements. But the further south we go here, the stronger chances we get of finding the Ngarare pride, the big pride that are quite skittish. I have found the sausage tree pride hiding inside this gardenia before. Not today. So I think we had some gremlins when Michael was asking about are there plans in place to habituate the Ngarare pride. Not really, Michael. I mean, I spent an hour with them the other day, and after an hour I managed to get within about 30 meters. There's just not a lot of vehicle traffic down here, and from camp to get down here, and that's if you don't stop to look at anything on the way. To get to the beginning of their territory is going to take you an hour and a half. So probably not. No definite plans, but I quite like them. I like seeing lions that are skittish. It's a proper wild lion. So for the next while, at least I'll come down here a couple of times, see if we can find them. Lions, in comparison to leopards, are quite easy to habituate skittish ones. much easier than leopard, just because big prides, certain individuals will be more relaxed than others, whereas leopards, you're dealing with an individual. Now, there's a couple of leopards in this area, but they're also quite skittish. Ooh, hello. No, long-crested eagle. There it goes. It was sitting so nicely earlier. You can see that the white windows in the wing, one of the very easily, it makes it quite easy to identify when flying. A long-crested eagle. Now, there's quite a few skittish leopards in this area. And if you do see a leopard down here, you've got to stop at quite some distance, otherwise they run. We're heading towards Cobra Corner now. I assume at some point there used to be a cobra that lived at the bridge across the Kishangai stream. What is that? What is that? Looks like a heffalump. There's some ellies up ahead. Even down in this part of the Mara, even the ellie herds are not nearly as relaxed as the ones up in the north. So it's quite nice. It's quite wild down here. We'll see how these ellies react. It looks like they're next to the road. I might go all the way down south to the border today, see what's happening down there. I haven't been down there for a couple of weeks. Okay, I'm going to keep looking. I'm definitely out of sausage territory now. We are very much in Garare territory. So I'm going to see if we can find this big pride of lions. While we do that, let's send you back to James, who's back with the remnants of an impala.
Yeah, we're back with our impala. Nothing has come through here to eat it, so we'll have a thorough examination of the carcass. Not because we are particularly gore-minded, but because, well, there's some interesting stuff here. Rexon, and I agree with him, thinks that it was only one dog down here and that he killed this thing on his own. Quite possibly not part of that pack of 3 that we've been seeing, but rather part of the larger pack that is up north. Okay, so what have we got here? What we have, obviously, is the stomach contents, which I do not wish to break open because the stink will be truly profound. But what I'm going to do is take off this kind of, I guess it's a nervous layer, actually, and reveal the rumen. And it is in here that we have got the 4-chambered stomach. So it goes from the mouth down into the rumen here. This is the food, obviously. And this is basically where the fermentation begins, in this large section known as the rumen. Then it travels back up into the mouth for re-chewing before it returns, and it skips through the rumen, which is this big fat piece here, and it goes into these other chambers here. Here is one of them that looks like, I'm not sure which one it is, the omasum, the abomasum, and the ruminoreticulum, somewhere around there. Then it passes into this long line of small intestines where a lot of the absorption happens, and then eventually it passes into the large intestine, which is over here, I think. Yeah. The large intestines are somewhere over here. I think underneath, actually. I don't want to pop it because it will be too disgusting. And then in the large intestine, that is where in fact, sorry, here's the large intestine. I don't know what I'm talking about. It's actually much smaller than it is on most things. And you can see a dung ball about to come out. Large intestine, where the water gets absorbed, and then the dung is formed in these little pellets, and out it comes. In fact, probably from that end over there. So that's what's happening. In fact, that is I think that is the end of the alimentary canal there, actually. Is it? Yes, that's where all the little pellets are going to come out from. I know this is a little bit disgusting, but it is quite interesting. And I'll show you where it joined up. Come and look over here, Jondri. Here is where it joined up to the end of the large intestine. It'll go to the rectum and out the end, and you can see the pellets of dung in there. The liver has gone, as far as I can tell. My anatomy is not the best. I'm assuming that's a bit of the cecum. They do have a cecum. It's not big like it is in something like a zebra. And this, if I'm not mistaken, I think these must be some lungs. In fact, they are lungs. Those are the lungs. Those would have been eaten had we not arrived. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, this might be a piece of the heart. What do you think, Jondri? But I'm not sure. The liver is gone. The kidneys, I think the kidneys are gone. No, I don't know. I mean, I'd quite like to get in here and really have a proper look, because I find this really interesting. I'm not going to do it in front of all of you, though, because I think it'll be a bit disgusting. So that's very interesting. We'll make our way away from here, and we'll come back this afternoon and see what's come across the thing, probably Tungana. Let's go back to Hosana, who is now moving.
Look at that. The action we have been waiting for, it is now taking place. I can see that now Hosana is going back to the carcass, slowly approaching the tree. So I'm just going to wait now and see how he climbs back. Oh, Hosana decided to just lie down in front of me. You can see now that he just decided to lie down there. He doesn't want me to see his climbing skills. So maybe he's gonna get up again and move on to the tree. But at least he shown us something. This is better than him sleeping all day long. Linda, that is what is going to happen. If he smells another leopard, he must go back to his kill so that he can protect it. So let's see how he's going to go back there. He's just looking at that carcass now. So I just want to quickly get to this side so that we can see him climbing. So Senzo is asking me to be on this position so that he can have better shots from here. So we're going to see him having breakfast, and while you can see that he's trying to check which is the side best for him to climb. You see now he's climbing the tree now. It's high up already, unexpectedly. So now I'm just going to reverse so that we can see him going to the carcass. So look at that. He's not very far away from the carcass, so now he's going for breakfast. Yeah, he did quite a bit of calculations there. Then he went very fast. Oh, look at that. That was fast. So that was very fast. Now you can see he's now feeding. He's having some breakfast. Now I'm just going to reverse so that we can have a clear sighting. So you can see that now he is having some meal and the intestines are starting to come out here. So if you look there, you can see that this carcass, it is still full. Not a lot has been taken. It's only now that he's going to look at him trying to open the side of this daycare. So these cats, you can see that now he's taking off the hairs, and some of these hairs, they swallow them, and after that they must have to again vomit them. They regurgitate their hairs, the hair balls, so when it's too much in the stomach. So the tongue has got some spines which helps them to scrape the meat. You can see that this tongue. So now let's go to a brand for something interesting in the Mara.
Well, my plans for the day are to stay out amongst the migration, see if we can find any lions hunting or cheetah or anything. So the biggest portions of the migrations at the moment are here down south, as you can see, looking out over the Kishanga Valley. Lots and lots of wildies, both sides of the river. So I'm going to cruise the edges looking for some big cats, and we'll see what we can find. Remember, we're going to be out here the whole day, so if there is action, keep a lookout for that go live on Facebook, because you never know what we might be showing you. But for the moment, I'm going to keep trundling south towards the Ingarare swamp, and maybe have a cup of tea down at Ingarare before moving on. Hello, Jonathan. Jonathan would like to know, in my opinion, what's the best place in Africa to go on safari? That is a very difficult question to answer, because there are so many wonderful places with so many different things. But my personal favorite is northern Botswana. Not the Okavango Delta itself, but the Cylinder Channel, the Kondo River, Savuti. that area is my personal favorite. And I grew up there, so obviously I've got quite a soft spot for it. But there are many wonderful places to go on safari, but that's my personal favorite. Now, and my personal favorite area in the Masai Mara is down here. We've got these wonderful acacias and albizzias. It's just so different from the rest of the Mara, and I'm very fond of this area. It is a long, long way from camp, so we don't get down here as often as we would like. Nice big herds all around, so hopefully there's a kitty cat not too far down the road who's feeling hungry. So while I continue to explore the Ngarare region, let's send you back to James and then Inyala.
There are some nyalas. They're quite close to camp. They too can smell the deliciousness of breakfast being prepared. And of course we feel deeply like we deserve it, A, after watching the wild dogs breakfast, and B, after walking. Now they of course become extremely well habituated to human beings because they spend so much time around camp, and there's a relative of theirs, a bushbuck called Gogo, which means grandmother. It's a male bushbuck that lives around our camp, and he is very old. Is it a male? No, it's a female. She's very, very old. She's got grey all over her face, and she's managed to avoid all of the attacks from many leopards over the years, and I suspect it's because she stayed so close to camp. So that is the story there. There is a nyala through there as well, but let's carry on. Okay, I think that we should go across to another breakfasting animal now to finish off the morning sunrise safari. Goodbye.
Hosanna is now busy having some breakfast, and he just nearly dropped the kill now, but he managed to catch it again. So you can see that he's very hungry. But now the duiker is left with only 3 legs. So he's already done with the other leg, the other hind leg. So he started from that hind hip. Maybe because of hyenas wanted to catch him there. So today he wanted to check what is it that the hyenas were going to do with his hip. So I can see now that he's trying to open also the intestines. So he's very lucky to catch something here very close to the water hole, so that when he's thirsty he can just go there. But normally they do get quite a lot of moisture from the meat that they're eating. Riandi, that is very true. If he drops this and this carcass got taken by something else, it will be very sad because he battled too much to get something like this. So you can see now that the intestines are starting to come out. So sometimes you will see them absorbing the juice from this. It has been a very lovely morning with cats and dogs. Hosanna here trying to wait for the chance, and the wild dogs. Thank you very much for all your comments and questions. Let's meet again this afternoon.